So I believe all of you can see my screen, and you can work with me as we go in detail into the process. Okay, so as we all have vividly identified, validation is the checking through or cross-checking of contributions. At least looking at it from the mapping perspective is like the walkthrough of contributions of mappers to check and confirm that what has been done right. Also, through these processes, extra features, additional features are being added because it is regarded as validators. You guys have advanced knowledge on how to map. So extra features such as roads, waterways, and all other forms of stuff are being treated so that you will get to add them on the map, assuming majority of the mappers don't add it by themselves. So these are some of the works of a validator. Now, most times as validators, when the work is being checked and at least 70 to 80% of the work is not done right, you are required to just send it back to whoever has done the work and give reasons why you are sending back the work. Okay, so that is lesson number one. If you are to send back anybody's work, ensure that you have a solid reason attached to it. Be direct and specific with the reason so that he or she will know where to focus on when they open the task to rework on it. Now, when a task is being sent in for mapping, it is first an empty area. It has no data, it has no features, and it is totally blank. Okay. Now, when you open the project or task and you start working on it, gradually we begin to add buildings. At this stage, mappers add buildings, mappers add roads. That's if they are being trained to add roads. For our own mappers, we didn't train them for roads, especially because we feel they are meant for buildings. Specifically, they are targeting or contributing on buildings. So we decided, okay, validators will be the ones to add the roads. But on regular days, mappers to map the buildings and they also add the road contributions. So at the stage 2 of the process of contribution, we'll see that rapid population estimates are being made by the roads and buildings that we have, and basic navigation is being set basically by the roads. Okay. At the stage 3, we begin to see village and city names are being added to this to the map or the contribution that we've been able to make. These are also some of the works of the validators, because maybe some of them have gone through the communities, they know the exact name of a particular building, they are being charged with the task of adding the building name, adding the street name, the location, whatever it is, they add it. Okay. Now, this makes it easy for logistics to pass through emergency situations for responses. It makes it easier because, okay, you know that I'm going to Ganpa City as stated here. It is already written on the map. Unlike where this place is empty now, they can tell me that, oh, it's around that area, but when I get there, I don't really know which of the buildings is Ganpa City. But the moment I get here on this map that states it clearly, I'll know that, oh, Ganpa City is actually this place. Okay. Now, what if where I want to respond to is this, I think, Bona Clinic. Now, on this previous stage, there is no specific pointer to show that this building is this is a church, this is a mosque, this is a hospital, whatever it is. Again, as validators trained to VD, that is why we will see that we also have field mappers, field validators. But normally, as we are doing this work, we are supposed to even go on field too, to confirm these places, get the coordinates so that we know that, oh, there's a hospital there, what's the coordinate of the hospital? You get it. When you come to your mapping, you search for the coordinate, it points you to the exact place, and you put a pointer there and name it so and so hospital. Okay. So when extra information is being added, it gives it much more quality. it directs people who are going for emergency response to be more accurate where they are going to. Okay. Now, adding more features such as microdata can really go a long way in helping providing good navigation. It helps in accuracy maintenance. So basically, as we can see, this is Burma Clinic. Now they put in the addition of details. We have how often they open and close, for how many hours, is it an emergency response center, is it a dispensary, capacity, how many people can it take, okay, contact, who can we contact if we are going here. So now, if there is an emergency response, all I need to do is to, you take this contact and call. Where is the exact location? If you reach there, you see it's close to a church, it's close to a mosque, that. This is because of the geodata that has been added on the map. Now, this is the process, the mapping process. This is how it goes from being nothing to what you people now use on Google Maps. Okay, so as you can see, stage 1, 2, 3 is more of mappers work most times, while 3, 4, okay, let me do stage 0. There's nothing in 0, so I would say level 1, 2 is more of mappers work. 2, 3, 4 is more of the validators work. Okay, so when all this is being done, it is being shared out there, and people can easily use this knowledge to make informed decisions or navigations. That is that about how the validation process works. Things you add on the buildings. So you would also see, when you see blue, it's water. So waterways, the land use, the type of roads, everything depends on the validation process. So these are some of the little stuffs that validators add. Okay, I hope we are clear on that. Now, moving forward, I'm taking project 164438 as a sample. Now, this is one of our projects. And this is how most of the projects will be assigned to you. So I can say validator A, you are taking this whole place. Okay, I can say validator A, you are taking this whole place. Validator B, you are taking, of course, there will be of the same number of tasks. Okay, I'll say validator B, you are taking this. Validator C, you are taking the whole of this. And validator D, you are taking the whole of this. Now, this is where you understand why validators don't really have that time to be doing the work of a mapper. That is why we always make emphasis on mappers. Do your work well, make it good, make it right, make it neat. This is one of the primary reasons. Now, don't forget that just one of these boxes is a task. So as a validator, imagine on one project, just one task, on one project, you now have the whole of this to complete. And they are giving you just 1 day or 2 days to complete the whole of these tasks. Will you sit down and be doing the mapping work for the mapper? Definitely no. So are you gradually getting the reasons why a validator, number 1, needs to know what he or she is doing. 2, needs to be precise with what they are sending back. Because you can't keep sending back the work and you are not telling them what to do, and they keep sending back and you keep checking, and you two are just going back and forth. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is just one project. Now we would have 4, 5, 6 mappers will just be rushing to see that they are getting buildings, making targets, and they keep pushing it. And for you as a validator, you have to do this work. Now, you haven't even started the validation work yet. So now, this is just how it works for the division. So as I said, your assigned tasks will be shared with you, so you will know where and when to come in. Okay, so moving forward, so let's say for an example, at least, so as a validator, All you need to do to select a task is to just hover and click on the task. So you can click on it back to uncheck it. You can also come and filter by name, which will not be available for you guys because I would have assigned tasks for you to work on. So all you have to do is to search by task number. Okay, so here I'm going for task. Say for instance, task 1314 is part of my work to do. I'll just search for it like this. I'll click on it. So I entered it, I think, to check what the person did, and I went out. I stopped the validation. So I'll also show you how to stop validation and the rest of them. So this is it. The moment I click on the task I've searched for, you see that it looks for it on the whole of the work and select it. Okay, I ensure my JSON is on. Then I go to validate task and select validated. So I think my JSON is not running. So let me turn on my JSON. Okay, so while this is going on, don't forget that as a validator, you should be well informed with the instructions of your work. Okay, you should be you should be detailed with your instructions. So you should know your own instructions that you're working with. You should know the attributes you are mapping on your work. You should know your imagery and whatever it might be. Okay, on the contributors list, I think we've been able to go over and over on this, on the total number of people that are working on what and what and what. So we can all see it here. So let's go back to the task. Since our JSON is now open, then I search for this task. It's selected, then I validate task. Now this is the surface it opens up for me, and when I come here, this is the work open for me to validate. Okay, so first treating this place, you can see that it has the completion, instruction, and your history. This, as a regular map, I believe you should also be able to see. History you can see for activities, you can see for comments, for all. Now you see, it shows what everybody came to did. You see that I logged it for validation 20 something seconds ago. Who did the work? Wahid Sarafa did the work 2 weeks ago. So it is there. So you want to see history, you can know who did the work last, who did what last. It's there. Okay, I go back to the instructions, I go back to completion. So now I am left with going to do the actual validation work. So I go back to my JSON, add. Now on entering a task, this is the first thing you do. Don't forget that when we saw who worked on the history, we saw Wahid. Don't let it surprise you that it was just Wahid that submitted this task, but it wasn't Wahid that worked on it. It is very much possible. That is why sometimes you see that a work is being sent back to somebody and the person will say, "Boy, it was not the person that worked on it. Boy, I was not it." Because you were the one that submitted it, that is why it is coming back to you. But as a validator now, this is how you can treat the issue. When you open any task, the first thing you do is Control A. Control A. Control A selects everything. And now, after that, you will go to your authors table. If your author is not activated, look somewhere around this side and you will see it. See it here. Author. Click on it and then it will appear over here. Now, as the author, we can see that it has given us a list of contributors that are working on this project or that have worked on this task, with the highest person being Wahid. Okay, and the person had contributed 75%. The person has concluded. So the next person following Wahid contributed only 4%. So if this work is not good, I'm returning it back, who am I supposed to return it back to? I'm supposed to return it back to Wahid, because Wahid is the major contributor in this particular work. Are we clear? So that is the first thing you do when you enter any task. You know who and who contributed to what. How can we move forward from there? That is the first thing. So now that I know, I can even still select Wahid's name if I want to see what Wahid did originally, his work on this tile. When I click on Wahid's name, I'll come to this select here. I'll click on select and it will show me, oh, so Wahid didn't actually touch the roads. Almost every building here was done by Wahid. Very good. Now, I will now zoom in and begin to check, are there missing buildings? Oh, interesting. These are buildings that are missing. So Wahid didn't, I can even see constructions that are not tagged as constructions. Okay, and they are quite much. See buildings, see buildings, see buildings. So, okay, so what we will say is wrong with this work now. What are the problems that we have? Let me go back to you guys so that you will tell me 1, 2, 3 problems. Okay, Jennifer, what is the first problem we notice on this tile? Yes, I can hear you. Oh, your network is bad. I cannot really hear you. Oh, it's fine. Okay. Your network is bad. Okay. Kosebi, what are the issues that we have with this work? Kosebi, kindly unmute your mic and speak up. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. I think that has at least summed up majority of the issues. So I said, for me, majorly the person didn't map buildings. 1, 2. Only few constructions, as we can see, have been tagged as constructions. Others are here too, like this one is a construction. If we click on it, we'll see that it's still the same person that did the work, right? And it hasn't been tagged as a construction. See many others too. See them here, see them here, see them here. They haven't been tagged as construction. See them, and it's not just 1 or 2. Now, for me as a validator, this is my role. This is what I tell you guys to do. If these buildings that have not been mapped, they are not more than 10, just take your time as the validator to run them through. Make them for the person. You can see wherever I've joined this thing here, buildings here. So I have to separate it using G and align properly. Now, if these buildings are not actually much, let's say 10 at max or so, it's fine. You can take your time as a validator to do it. But this one now is even more than the buildings. If you should map this building, believe me, you can get 50 buildings out of this place. You can get 50, and you'll be saying the mappers will be saying there are no buildings. See the kind of task that is being submitted that has clean, clear buildings. Evidently, they are buildings. You can see the imagery is big. They are clear, evident. Yet it had been submitted without taking care of this. Okay, so even for the reason that this Number one, the problem with this is buildings have not been mapped right. So this is what I will do. I'll first open my Microsoft Word. I'll first open my Microsoft Word and I'll note that, okay, need more mapping of buildings. This is for the person. I go back. Apart from buildings, I noticed constructions are not tagged. Okay, constructions need more construction tagging. Okay, after that, what other issue did I notice here? The person, at least to an extent, traced well, in as much as they still needs more tracing. Say for instance, this kind of places now, it needs more tracing, but to an extent the person tried with alignment and tracing. You see what I'm saying with the accuracy in tracing. So this could have been done a little bit better. This could have been done a little bit better. So I think basically, in as much as I know we have been saying that road is not really their problem. Yes, we have overlapping buildings, but for these overlapping buildings, I would love to clear them by myself. But if they are much, you have to come back and also say delete overlapping buildings. So now I am clear on what I am sending back. I'll check through. Is that the only error? Is that it? Okay, that is it. Okay, if there are multiple buildings that have been mapped as one, you still add it. Multiple buildings mapped as one. So we have a list of the problem. Now these are some lists. I'm noting them down so I don't forget. For you, you could be so sharp that you can note them down in your head without any, while you forgetting anything. Good. I think this is an example I used for a training. Good. So I've noted down the problem. Now, that is step one. Okay. You as a validator, what is your work that you're supposed to do on this thing now? We said you are supposed to map roads, waterways, land use. You work on them. Okay. So now, there is what we call the map paint styles. Map paint style. I hope you guys are noting these things. Map paint styles. So usually you can also find them somewhere around this side, around this angle of the stuff. But usually for you to edit them, you have to go through your edit, preferences, then you can obviously see map paint styles here. So what are map paint styles used for? They are used for, as it said, map paint. They are used to obviously paint some attributes of the map so that you can understand the differences between some attributes and other attributes. Some give you more details of a particular error, just like you saw on my own is showing overlapping buildings. He wrote it there. So for some mappers, since you've been mapping, you've never seen an overlapping building, like Joseph telling you directly that this building is overlapping. You've never seen it. So these are some of the work of map paint styles. So for me, these are some of the map paint styles that I have downloaded for me to be using. And as you can see, some of them are activated. The ones that are ticked are activated. The ones that are not ticked are activated. So now how do I bring in a map paint style? Now these are some of the map paint styles that you should save or have active on your map paint style column. Okay, so firstly, I think Joseph default is there, map with AI is there. Okay, I don't advise everybody use modified objects. I only find it important for me. So any objects that you've touched or you've worked on, it will highlight it as green. As you can see, when I touched this line here, it made it green. When I touched a building somewhere here, yeah, it made it green. So that is the work of modified objects. So one of the major ones you should install is inline_validation. So how do you do that? You just come here and search inline. Okay, so the moment you search, you just click on what you're searching for and press this button. You press this exchange button, and it switches it to the side. So already I have it. If you keep doing it multiple times, you have it multiple times. So I have had it before, but for me, on adding it again, it had also added it again. So I have two. So I think I'll need to remove one of them. Okay, so that is how you keep adding them. So as I was saying on the tools, I think I would suggest you have inline validation, fix me notes, all these fix me notes, you have them. This fix me notes one, so you can screenshot this, please. Let me see. Okay, I've also helped you screenshot. I'll share the screenshots. Fix me notes, you also have it. Missing maps, you have these missing maps. Use validators mappers, you also have it. If important for you, you can have modified objects, which is the one that is showing this green for me. Okay, then you can have port large. We already have inline validation. So the inline validation is part of the ones that is telling me, oh, this, like you saw an exclamation mark around somewhere here now. So that's some of the work of these mapping styles. Also, those building, overlapping buildings, or this thing, those notifications I was getting, it is the work of these mapping styles. Okay, so kindly have a screenshot of this, as I said once again, so that you can download them, search them here. After searching, you go for this button to push them here. You can select multiple ones at the same time. Say for instance, I want to add in some of these guys. I can say, okay, I want bench, I want you hold down your control key, control on your keyboard. I want bench, I want to colorways, I want GPS data, I want colored buildings. Then I'll push, all of them will come in. Can you see that they are now all here? So that is easily how to do that. Now once you are done, don't forget to say okay to ensure that you have saved it. So can you see that it has some that I just added now have actually changed the way my stuff looks? So sometimes it could be confusing, sometimes it would mess up your own vision and the rest. Even the water that was just the normal blue has changed to something else. So if you don't want them to disturb you, you can come back in and deactivate the ones that you don't want. As I said, to activate and deactivate, all you just need to do is to uncheck, and we can see that it is this colorways that is giving them the color. So I've taken it out. I don't want it. I want inline validation, but I have one that is on already, so I leave it. Even modified objects, I have one that is on, so tick them, so make sure they are on, and I'm okay with these ones. So you can play around them to see what styles are easy for you to comprehend or make your work easy to work with. Now, I intentionally said I was not going to delete the duplicate buildings, the overlapping buildings, because I also want to show you one important tool that will help you do that. Okay, so let's go back again into the preferences. This time around, we are not going for mapping styles. We'll be going for plugins. Now in our plugins, we will be searching for Mapillary or Mapatona. We'll be searching for Mapatona. So if you don't have this, you can just click on it, then update plugin. For me, I have Mapatona, so but let me just do the process. Just click on it. You see, it's telling me I already have it, so there's no need. So if you don't have it, you would have to click, then say update plugins, then okay, so that's then your using can restart. So why is Mapatona important? Just like we have duplicate buildings here now, let's do this. See Mapatona at the top of your see here. So this is where Mapatona is located. Okay, so you can just click on mapper toner and you can see its options over here. What are the options? Say cycle, batch this, batch that, L buildings. For this one, I want duplicate buildings, and I'll just click select duplicate buildings, and it will check are there buildings that are duplicated. So for this one, they exactly match and look like they are duplicating. That is why it's selecting them. Okay, they are duplicate buildings, so that is why it's selecting them. So for me, what I do first is when I do the whole search, I see who has the highest percentage, I do duplicate, and you can see the two people that are duplicating here, Tolani and Wahid. That means possibly Tolani came into this work, or Tolani had done part of it before Wahid, or Wahid, if I check the history, I can see who did what first. But there's no need of that. All I just need to do is it has selected duplicate, and I'll just press delete on my keyboard, and the duplicated ones are gone. Now the writing might not go off, but the correction had already been made. So not until maybe you make an upload before it will now see that, oh, we have clearly worked on this. Okay, so now you can see it's no more duplicated. So for this one too, is not duplicated any longer. For this one too, there is no duplicate, but this is overlapping with this, so I'll just adjust like this a little, and we are good to go with this too. This one I think is not as long as that. I'll make it like this. Okay, so now I fixed some of the problem here, reducing my work if the person eventually should finish his part of the work after I am done with my complaints. I think our time is running fast, so I really need to do, and I think we should almost be done to an extent, although we are not. Abdulaziz, I see your hand. I'm coming. Okay, so let's just finish up with this before we continue to the next phase. So first, so we've been able to do that, remove duplicate buildings and do that. So now, part of our main work, one of our major priorities as validators is working with roads. So now, put this English in your head. Roads in Josin is known as highway. Roads in Josin is known as what? Highway. So they are generally called highways, not roads. And the way they are being tagged is, as you can see over here, highway, it could either be residential, it could be a primary highway, it could be a secondary highway, it could be tertiary. There are different types of highways, of which in the second session I would explain what type of highways they are. Now, with the consciousness of knowing what types of highways we have, that would make you make informed decisions how to tag this highway. Is it a residential highway? Obviously, residential means it's in a residential area where people's houses are. So this is obviously a residential highway. The second thing you look at after it is known to be a highway is, okay, is it tarred or untarred? Is there coal tar on it? Is there asphalt on it? Whichever English you understand. Obviously, this one I can even see as the sand is red. All these Yoruba people land, I can see as the sand is red. So it's obviously untarred. So what would I do here? I will select the road, come to add, then the key will be what? Surface. Then the value will either be paved or unpaved. In this case, it is unpaved. So I put unpaved and I say okay. So you will see that from here it has added the tag. Okay. Now, most times all roads are connected and they lead to each other. All roads are connected and they lead to each other. So you must be sure that all your roads are connecting to each other. Don't forget now, this is just one road we made modifications to. Check the rest of the roads might not have that tarred and untarred. So to make things easy for me, I can just hold down shift and be clicking on each of them. Don't mind, maybe there is one that maybe has its tag paved or unpaved. I'll just select all of them that I want, select them as long as I can see that they are unpaved. I'll hold down my shift and be selecting them, selecting them. Oh, almost all of them are unpaved. Then I'll just come to add surface unpaved. Okay, all of them have now been modified to have unpaved. Okay, Abdulaziz, your hands are up before we continue. Any problem? All right, so we have barely 9 minutes to work with, of which I might be stopping, so we create another link to continue the session so we can wrap it up as soon as possible. So that is one of the stuff we do to modify roads. So for roads, majorly what you are supposed to do, there are just two things for road to make your work easy. Give us the type of road. Is it a tertiary road? Is it a residential road? Is it a service road? Don't worry, I said we'll go through the session of the types of roads you have. We'll go through that. So that's the first thing we require for you. Highway, as I said, roads are called highways. So highway is a residential highway. That's your responsibility number one on roads. So your responsibility number two, is it tarred or untarred? Is it paved or unpaved? That is what we mean by tarred or untarred. Is it paved or unpaved? So you put surface, paved or unpaved. It is easy as that. If it's a plain road that you are just starting, let's say, because you will definitely see this in this situation, the mapper even tried, or the person, the area had already had its road already mapped. So you enter some places and you will see lines of clear roads, but they are not like this one now, although it's not in my tile, but let me use it as an example. It's out of boundaries, but let me use it as an example. If I select the A to add node, see it here, this is how you create a road normally. So you just draw, and connect. You can see it's just plain. If you click on it now, it doesn't have any tag or attribute. So I'll have to add tag. So I'll first say highway. As I said, they are all called highways. I'll say tab. This is residential. Tab. Okay. It has colored it like the way of the rest of the roads. I click on it again. Highway. Surface, already it has brought its surface, but we will see some of the previous ones that you've even done here. So I can just click surface on paved and say okay. And I've been able to create a road successfully. Okay. So now I think I have done majority of the road work. These ones I'll align them. I can delete nodes so that the roads will align well. That they will, because part of your work is also to ensure that those roads align well. So I can delete some so that to ensure that the roads align well. I'll say click on A here to extend this one. Okay. See some missing this. Okay, so for now I think those are the major things before I send back to the person. Okay, so now since it's the same person that submitted that is this, so I'll just copy his username from here, right click and copy. So I'll go back to my validation. Now this is an example of a message I sent to somebody, at whoever it is. Thank you for your contribution. Please note that this task needs you to separate multiple buildings that you have mapped as one, and square the irregularly shaped buildings properly. Cheers. Polite and nice. Let the person understand the main essence of you sending it back. So let's do that for this person here. Go back to the task and we will see that we also have time that we are working with here, 1 hour 34 minutes. So that means I've opened this task for like 26 minutes. For this task, is it well mapped? I will say no. Add comments. Okay, they're asking me to leave a comment, so I will say at shift at. Already it has even brought the name of the contributor for me. If it's not there, you just type the person's name, Shafa or Sarafa. Okay, so what are the problems we said? Need more mapping of buildings. Okay, so I will just first say, so sometimes I advise mappers, have your list. You can have multiple ways of your comments to people, save them on your Microsoft Word, so that if they are similar, you just need to be copy and paste it. So for this one, I'll just say at this, thank you for your contribution. Please ensure that, let me see what his problems are. Okay, so let me make the English like this, please. Ensure that the following are attended to. Okay, so let me first copy this into it, the problem into it, before I know how I'll attend to it. Okay, 1, buildings need more mapping. 2, need more construction tagging. 3, I have already done this for the person, so there is no need of putting this. Thank you. So anybody that sees this message and is angry, I don't know what else the person wants you to do. Okay, so this is the one of the most polite way you can talk to somebody, and once you're done, submit the task to the person, and the person should get it in his or her notification bar that you have this. So one of the problems we also have is people don't check these unread messages. They don't go to check them. So they just come and briefly see the notification, read whatever is here alone. So these are, as validators, this is one of the things you will hammer on for people to take note of. Okay, so we'll discuss more on this later. Any question for now before we extend the session? Okay, what is your question? You can unmute your mic. Yes, the video will be available. I think it has even stopped, but it will be available. The part it was available to, it will be available. Yeah, I still have it. I'll share it. Once it's done, I'll upload and ensure that you guys have it up. And there are still other reference videos we have done before for various trainings that you can also go through to ensure that you have the right knowledge. Okay, hope that answers your question. Any other question? Any other question? The next phase is, yeah, Abdulaziz has already created the next link, so kindly join the next link. We'll see you there. Thank you. All right, so you all are welcome back to the second session. Okay, so far so good. We've been able to go through the definition of validation as regarding mapping, OpenStreetMap. We've also been able to go through how to run through getting a task on the tasking manager or tasking manager. We went through the history of a task and the instructions of the task. We also opened the task and did some basic first entry level validation processes, which was to highlight everything, see who had highest contribution so that you know who you are addressing an issue to. Also, we went through, saw some little problems and took note of them. Also, we have been able to go through mapping styles and how we could use them to ensure that our work is looking good, or make easy validation way for us as validators. We also have been able to go through how to tag highways, otherwise known as roads, and also last thing we didn't do before submitting that task back to the person was to make upload of the changes that we have done. Okay, make upload of the changes we have done, so that at least when the person goes back to do his work, you will see that we have made some changes. So to an extent, when the task is being returned back, we know that majority of the validators work on the project has already been done. What is left is just for us to affirm that corrections had been made and credit it for proper validated work. Okay, so once this is done, move to the next. So before we move to the next task to show, I'll be checking something on Google. So I will just say key highway and type it, and we'll see from OpenStreetMap wiki, we'll see key highway, and we'll click on key highway, so we'll get what it is. So this place shows you what types of highways we have, their specification, their definitions, what essentially they are. So if you want to know more about highway in details, for you to understand which one is which, this is where you check for it. Okay, so as you see, one of the key attributes we're adding on our map is highway. So on that, we can see that for highways we have highway, motorway. Don't forget that this is key and its value, as we usually have in our JOSIN. When you want to add an element, there is a key and there is a value, or you want to edit, there is a key, there is a value. So we also have it here. So a highway could be a motorway, it could be a truck. So what you are saying that essentially, firstly, this is a highway. You are telling them this is a road, okay? But then the value now says this is the type of the road, okay? This is the type of the road. So don't confuse it with the English of, because I know when I also started, I was like, but when they say highway, it is all this way that car used to run very fast on it. All this way that is very broad and cars can speed. They used to say you should watch out on highway because cars are always moving fast. So that is not the definition here on mapping, in mapping. Highway simply means road. So whether it is a trunk, whether it's a primary way, it's a secondary way, it's a tertiary way, it is unclassified, it is residential, it is now left for you to decide from seeing what type of a way it is. Okay? So that is that. So when you say a highway is, let's talking about the basic ones that we normally encounter. So for some of them, you have to be an expert in some of these things so as to understand majorly what they are. So usually, as you've seen, they have given, thank God they've given pictorial examples so you could understand. So they say highway, motorway, a restricted access major divided highway, normally with 2 or more running lanes, plus emergency hard shoulder, equivalent to a freeway, autobahn. Autobahn is a road that doesn't have traffic limits. So it's a road that doesn't have traffic limits. You can run as fast as you want on it. No police will come and catch you. So usually these kind of ways are the ones you tag as motorway. So most times you see them, it's in 2 lanes. There's no traffic regulation on it. It's just freeway. You can run as fast as you want. So sometimes it takes you to have knowledge of what type of road is in this location for you to tag it as this is the actual thing it is. Okay? So for me now as a person, if I don't know what that is actually a motorway, the highest I will track it is possibly maybe a primary way or a secondary way. We'll get to them. Okay? A trunk next, they say, is the most important road in a country system that aren't motorways. Okay, they are one of the most important. So I would say they are closely equivalent to primary ways, but then they are a little bit ahead of primary ways. Okay, they are one of the most important roads in a country system that aren't motorways. So they aren't motorways doesn't mean car doesn't go on it or no. They mean they are not they are not autobahn. That means these ones should have regulation. They should have traffic regulation. They should have where you can stop and pause. They have places where they tell you can't go more than 60 kilometers. All those things is a truck. What they are telling you essentially is one of the major routes that you have in a country system. So usually the confusion will come out, is it a truck, is it a primary way? For me, if I don't know the area, I will tag it as a primary way. So when we say a primary way, it is mostly linking, let me say for instance, Lagos to Ibadan Expressway. I will regard that as possibly a truck, or yes, I'll say it's a truck. Or since it now runs and the road will now enter Ibadan and will now move to other states, major roads that link from one state to the other, I will regard as a primary way in my own knowledge. Okay? Roads that link from one state to the other. For me, I will link it as primary or a truck. Okay? So now, after primary, we have secondary. That's the second in command. They say they are next most important road in the country system. Often links towns. They link towns. Okay, so I can say maybe a road that leads from one LGA to another LGA is a secondary way. Say for instance, the road that links possibly, which area can I use? I want to use maybe one of these south areas. Let's say inside Lagos. A road that leads from Badagry to maybe Isolo, it should be termed as a secondary way. A road that leads from Mushin to maybe which area is it that I will put? Mushin is also close to Isolo too. We will say is a secondary way. Okay, so ways that reach, because those ones now in Lagos context you might see as if they are close because Lagos is a small town. Okay, so Lagos is a small place. So, but if you now come to the context of places like, for instance, let me take Borno now, which is one of the biggest. I think it's the second, I think, largest state in Nigeria. The road that links maybe Bama and Maiduguri is a secondary way because they are quite far from each other. Okay, so that is how you classify them. So as I said, LGA to LGA is, for me, easiest explanation is a secondary way. Then within an LGA, one road links from one community to another community. Okay, I will regard that as a tertiary way. They say it's the next most important one in the country. Often links smaller towns or villages. So we'll say from this community to this community. Say, for in as much as I know, Ilupeju and Motion are two different LGAs, but they are, if you were to consider it, they are too close to each other. They are very close to each other for me to even give them the road as secondary ways. Okay, so but when you understand the definition that the road that links two villages or two communities are tertiary ways, it's easier for you. A road is unclassified where you don't know the class of it. Temporarily you are working on it, you don't know, like maybe a road that you see inside a bushy area or a green land or something, we don't know what type of road it is, so we'll just say highway, unclassified. A road that you see mostly where settlements are, we'll call them what? Residential road. So this one is the most used residential, because wherever you see plenty buildings, you just tag the road residential, because obviously you see from your eyes that it looks like a residential road. Now these road links, they are much more, they are a little bit advanced. So motor link, truck link, or I wouldn't want us to treat this for now. Okay, so we also have those such as track. So we say for mostly agriculture or forest uses describe the quality of track. Although tracks are often rough and unpaved surfaces, they are tagged but used consequently. So mostly areas, like I said, so mostly areas that maybe is a bushy area, as you can see the picture is here. Is a bushy area, it's just like a path. So we should we are supposed to tag that as what? A track. Highway, track, highway, track. Okay, so because we have seen it here. Okay, all this raceway, or we cannot know if there is a raceway or not. Road is when you are still unsure. It's more like saying unclassified. So that is when you use highway. Road is more like saying unclassified. Busway, we are not in a country system where we really know if it's a busway or not. So let's just for now stick with those major ways. We have also footway, we have steps, we have paths. I'm looking for, there are so many. So that is why you have to just know which ones that you are working with. So we also have the ones that are under construction. If there is a road you know that is under construction and is there, so it will be highway construction. Okay. So I am looking for those of highway service, a service station, eat something, found something. So maybe this one is just within a station where services are provided. That is when you tag highway services. So it's within an area where a particular service is being provided. So that is when you tag highway service. Let's say for instance, the road that will be inside like a shopping mall. You know, there are some big like ShopRites now. They used to have a lot like patterns of roads in them for people to move around. So we can tag such a road as a service road or highway, as we have seen earlier on. Okay, so that is that on the types of highways that we have, how they are classified, and whatever it might be. So for you to have more knowledge on it, and you can just click on this, and I think I will share this on WhatsApp so that you have it for you to know. Any questions on the type of highways? Because this is the major thing you need on highways. The rest will be tagging. Do we have any question? Okay, Abdulaziz. Abdulaziz? Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Titi Layo. Yeah. So as I said earlier on using the example I used, I'll still go back there so you see it is called paved or unpaved. So the English paved or unpaved might not be familiar with everyone. We all might not be familiar with that, but when we say it is tarred, so tarred simply means it is paved. Untarred means it is unpaved, which means there is tar on it or there is no tar on it. So that is what we mean by paved or unpaved. But JOSIM doesn't recognize tarred or untarred. It only recognizes paved or unpaved. And the only way you can know is the same way you know that this is a building, this looks like a building, is to look at the road well. Does it look black? When a road is tarred, you will see how the tar will look even from your JOSIM. So you'll be able to denote that, oh, this is tarred. If it's not, you see that it's usually the sandy color. It's usually the light brown or yellow, or you just see it's looking obvious that it's not tarred. So that is when you can tag this as unpaved. The other one will now be tagged as paved. We will see that as we move forward. So I would assume there are no questions and I can move forward. So now after buildings, the next thing we would look at is, I would say, key again, land use. and I'll come into the first one, so I'll see. So for land use is like the area covered by for a particular purpose. Okay, it's an area covered for a particular purpose. So if you read the English here, you will understand whatever it is, but that's the shortest definition I can give to it. So land use could either be commercial, say in an area where there is plenty commercial activities, then you would like put a your tracing tool, your line, you use it to draw maybe a shape around that area, then tag it as land use. If it's a commercial area, tag it as commercial. If it's like a construction site, tag it all around construction. It is a school, say for instance, University of Ibadan is inside where we are mapping, and the university is quite big, so I'll just see, oh, the whole of this is the university, bam, 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 double click, add tag, land use, value, education, good. So anybody that is by land use is seeing this, oh, this is an education institute that is in this area. Okay, is it an industrial? Residential are most of the ones you come across, because there are a lot of residential buildings in some of the places that we're mapping. So you see multiple buildings in a place, so you say pap, 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 do around all the buildings, like you cap them as one. If all these write-ups are buildings now, just come pap, 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 like this, like this, like this, and I tag them all as land use residential. So this thing has disappeared, so land use residential. So I have institutional, so the majority of the ones you would be using is either land use, forest. All these are inside the mapping guide, by the way. There is a mapping guide that we shared. It's inside the original WhatsApp group. Go and check the mapping guide. So they are the land use that we are using, they are there, so please revert back. But majorly, if they are land use industrial, land use residential, and land use, they could also be farmland. Okay, so when you go, you can also have those of forest. So when you go in detail, you see, so land use is one of the most easy to tag. It's not difficult at all. Then anyway you see water, it is waterways. So they are not just tagged rivers or whatever, they are tagged as waterways. The way we say the roads are called highways, any type of water here is called waterway. So now you can see this is how they are tagged as. The key is waterway, the value. It could either be a river, it could be a stream, it could be a tidal channel, and you can see their definitions here. So a natural tidal way within a coastal marine environment with bidirectional flow of salty water, which depends on the sites. So you can see tidal channel. Okay, we can see, is it a canal, is it a drain, is it a ditch, is it whatever it is, you would see there. Is it a waterfall? So majorly the ones that you would come across majority of times is waterway, river. So usually most of the tagging we just tag waterway, river, or if it's in a small area, waterway, stream. Okay, tidal channel. So these are the major ones that we use, but I'll also show us how to tag waterways and also how to tag roads that we are creating by ourselves. So these are the three basic things that we are also, three basic features that we are also to add as validators. Are we clear on that? Is there any question before we move further? Room for question. Okay, if there are no questions, I would proceed into picking another task, so we can check this out with it. And for this one, let me see if I can see a place. I can just get a random place with maybe road or water or something. Okay, for who was asking for paved or unpaved, let me find one of these main cities that have tagged roads, so we could we could work inside. Let me see this row me if they have anything there. So validate task as usual. So I switch back to my GeoSM and I allow it to load. And so now this is what I was saying, TT. Obviously you can see that this road is not tagged. Can you see how the color is? It's just like the color of the sand. So it's just obvious that this road is not tagged. So now see this one. Can you see the difference between this one and this one? So this is how you know that one is tagged, one is not tagged. See this one, then see this one. There are two different colors. So this is how you know that, oh, this guy is tagged, this guy is not tagged. So for me, I'll tag this one as tagged, I'll tag this one as untagged. So that is how you work with suffix. That's how you know which one is tagged, which one is not tagged. Okay, I hope we are clear on that. Good. So yeah, I think you see it's even obvious that is the third road. You can see another extension of another third one going. Now from here you will notice that even as this one is tagged, this one over here is not tagged. So that's how you know which one is tagged or paved and unpaved. Now some of them, they look like they need more arrangements, and we will go through the arrangement. So now we can see this is a particular task by someone. So there are periods when you enter and you see even the roads need alignment, they are not aligning properly as they should, and you really need to, it's part of your work to make sure they are aligned. Obviously here too we can see there are some construction that are not tagged, but if it's just one or two, I can as well just do that. Well, see, I'm seeing 3 now. I'm seeing 3, I'm seeing 4. So I don't think the person that worked here actually tagged constructions at all, because I cannot even see any construction tagged here. Okay, so as I said, first steps when you enter a project. So let's just assume now I did not show you those paved and unpaved, I just opened the project. First thing I do, Control A. So Control A, who are the people that have worked on this? Wahid has how many percent? 82. So if I'm to send back this work to somebody, who am I sending it back to? Wahid, because Wahid did 82% of the work, which still shows us that consistently Wahid is missing tagging constructions. In some places he actually tagged, yes, but it is part of his problem not to be tagging constructions. So we've seen that. So this is Wahid's work. Okay, so now for roads that are linking, you can use Control-Shift-E. My recorder will not allow me to use shortcut keys, and this is what I was talking about. So I can check all the roads that are interlinked. So it's just by selecting one of them. Let me see if we can go through here to see. Good. So we'll just come to selection, just to know if all your roads are linked together, because that's one of the first steps too. After you have selected, you've seen who has the highest percentage, Wahid, you can see this is the person work, the person didn't do roads. For the roads, since it's part of our concern, I want to see if all of them are linked or there are some, because you could find some could actually come close and they are not joined. Some could come close and they are not joined at all. So for you to ensure that every road is joined, all you just need to do is just select any one of them, go to your selection. You can see the shortcut is Control-Shift-E, all connected ways. I wanted to do it, but my recorder will not allow me to do that. So I'll just click on it, and every way that is connected to it will be highlighted. So any road that I see here that is white means it is not connected. So every road here is connected, which shows is a good work done. Right, is a good work done. So now, I said after we check and we've seen the problem, you see, there are still missing buildings we have here. We still have missing buildings. Okay, we still have constructions that are not tagged. You can see now. We still have constructions that are not tagged. We can see multiple buildings marked as one. You can still see almost the same issue that we had the last time. We still have them here. Okay. So these are some of the, you see, multiple buildings mapped as one. So these are some of the justifiable reasons why we have to send back this work. Okay, so but for me, I will just try to work on the road and other stuff I need to do before I send it back to whoever is supposed to attend to the work. So now, fixing roads. How do we make roads align properly without having coming to shift it like this? That one has spoiled, without shift it. So this is what I'll do. I'll select a particular road, then press W. W is a shortcut key for aligning roads, and from there it would allow me to just keep clicking. You can see the red distance over and to my left is showing that you can see where they are connected. So I'll ensure I come a little bit here. Good. You can see on select another part, then your W again to reactivate it. This is correct. You can see another one. So this tool is used for seeing that. You can see it's not working with the rest because the road are disconnected. So I need to escape, press escape, S to select again, and if there's any other addition, correction, I make it to it. If there is none, I leave it. This one I can just simply come and make an adjustment here. This one W, I just shift it a little, and ensure that all the ways are actually aligned. So this one, if you come to it, we'll see it. So, but majority of the roads are already aligned for me. Or you can just click on W so that any other one you are working with, you can just easily do that. Okay. So I am trying to align the roads, and yep, that is how you align roads with W as a shortcut key. We can also see overlapping buildings. So I would, instead of, since they are not much, instead of putting it as part of the complaints, I'll just shift and do some of them for the person. Okay, so that is it. I can also run my mapper turner to be sure there are no duplicate buildings. Okay, one. See it here. How did I know? When I did it, I came to check author or tag. It will show me if there is one thing selected or the other. So I can just click on delete to take it out. So I have checked. So now to our tagging of the roads. Let me check the data yet. So they have tagged the building, these as what? Okay, building. Let me select road. Good. So majority of this, see this one now, they've been tagged at surface. So some of them have surface, some of them don't. That's it. Some of them have surface, some don't have. So for me, this is what I will do. Okay, since I got the few, it's just few that are tagged according to what I'm seeing here. Just few are tagged. I'll select one, go to selection, and I'll select all connecting ways, all connected ways. Right now, let me check for those that are tagged and those that are not tagged. Good. I know that almost everyone here is on tag, so I'll come to add surface on paved. I'll say okay. It has made all of them have surface on paved, right? Don't mind that. I'll come to the ones that have surface that are paved. For instance, this one, I would say from here to, I'll hold down my shift and click on this dot here too. So the 2 points are selected. I'll select P to split ways, so that only this way now can be selected. Then this one, instead of the unpaved, I'll edit it and make it paved. So this one is paved. Now we can also see that from here to here, see combine ways is to combine ways. If the roads are not combined, I can just highlight, hold down shift and be selecting them. So I'll make them one way. I don't like the way they've been splitted. Okay, so I'll just press C and it has combined all of them as one. So I can now come and edit this particular one. I'll click on surface, then edit, then it is paved. Say okay. This one too is paved. I'll edit, paved. Okay. This one is not paved, so I'll just say W and let's adjust it like this. Yep. Good. So and I think I've been able to tag almost how many routes under under 30 seconds. So everything depends on how well you are using your brain to fix issues. For somebody, this might take over an hour to tag some of these routes. So, but you have to see easy way to work around some of your problems. You understand? So we've been able to tag majority of all these roads. We've been able to check and see the problems associated to this work. So now you see some of them, they are not squared properly, and this is somebody's work. So I don't even think this person is part of our mappers at all. I'll just try to make the adjustments, and you can see some of these things don't even tally. Q and okay. So imagine you are doing this and you have like 200 other tasks waiting for you. So you see reasons why as mappers, validators cannot always take time to do all the work for you. So these are some of the reasons. But then as validators now, ensure you look well to do the ones you are supposed to do. So if not for the purpose of this being a training that I quickly need to wrap up, I will take time to fix some of these things. If they are easy to fix, I'll fix some of them by myself before I submit back. You get? But see them, these ones, they need fixing by the main owner, and just leave them for the person to fix. So when I'm done and I'm sure I have done my own part of the work, so I'll just upload changes and cancel, because there are sometimes the work usually have errors. So it's good you run your validation. It's part of what you should do. Say firstly, after checking the percentage, after checking that all routes are connected, the third is to run your validation too. So I'll run this again, and I can see one warning already. Building crossing residential area, zoom into problem. Now this residential area should not be crossing a building, so I'll just draw. So this, when we talk about those residential area tagging, this is like an example. You can see, so it sees that this is a residential area, so they just drill around it and tag it as what? Land use, then residential. Okay, so but they should not be running on top of buildings, if not you'll be getting warning. So I'll run validation tool again. There's no issue. I try to upload, it's not giving me an issue. I cancel, I run validation tool again. This sometimes that's all you have to do, so that it will bring in some errors. Then I upload changes. Okay, so these are some of the changes I've been able to make by myself. Okay, so we'll go back and see for this road. Let me see. I wouldn't regard, I think I disagree that this road, I think I want to disagree that this road is a tertiary road. I don't think it is a tertiary road. We have roads like this, so I think it's all residential. So I would click on this, because I could obviously see that even the color looks different. Edit, click on highway tertiary, edit, and I'll make it residential. Okay, so sometimes these are some of the things you should be on the lookout for, just to make sure everything is looking smooth and good. Okay, so I don't think there is even a road here at all. So it seems like it's there, but it's more of a path than a road. So I'm taking it out. There's no road here. So wherever there are roads, you add roads. If there's no road, you take it out. Okay, and upload changes. So then the work is not done, it needs more mapping, so I'll say no. I'll add comment at yes. Thank you for your contribution. Kindly map left out buildings, tag constructions, tag buildings under construction, and separate buildings and separate multiple buildings that have been mapped as one. Okay, cheers. Okay, so that is my comment style. So you see, this time I didn't have to go and be noting down the problem like I did earlier on. I didn't have to do that because I already have seen the problem. I know it in my head. It's just up to me to know how I'll present it to him. So as I said, sometimes you might want to copy and keep so that if you have a similar case, you wouldn't have to be thinking of what English you want to speak and the rest. So you just have it and copy it and paste. So but I'll just keep these two so we have it. So now submit task to the person. So it will send a notification back to the person that the person needs more mapping. Okay. So, any question? Any question? Okay, so I assume there's no question. We all perfectly understand what we have explained, right? All right. So, I think this will be the last thing I will treat. Some of the things, I can't actually pour everything here once and for all. Some of the things, I'll have to refer you to some videos that we've done with some of the previous validators so that you also watch and learn from them. I can't do everything here, obviously. There are some other few tips and tricks around how to do this, how to do that, and well, small, we will get to be familiar with them. So, but lastly, one of the most important things is how we tag bridges, where we have waterways and the likes of them. Obviously, we have like 15 minutes to go, so I have to round it up in like maybe 10 minutes so that we can move on. So, since I'm done with this guy, let me see. Oh, I think I have one here. So, take off boundary. Good. So I'm using this as an example. Sorry, that's why you are seeing nowhere is mapped, because I want to show you how I will use this as an example. So good, we've spoken about how to, so if I will ask, what type of road should we tag this road as? Seeing that it extends from one city to another city. Yeah, one person should unmute the mic and speak up. So what do we tag this road as? Secondary. Okay. Another person. One person has spoken. Okay, so somebody said primary. Okay, another person. One more person. What would you, personally, you as a person, what would you tag this road as? Oh, yeah. Another person, another person, another person. So I like the perspective that we have three different suggestions: strong, secondary, primary. The other time we spoke, I told you I link strong and primary closely related to each other. So firstly, I would not regard this as a primary because we can see it goes beyond the primary state. This should even go from state to state. From the way I'm seeing it, this road is is a major road. So if this is a major road that goes from cities to cities, I can now regard this one now that links into the town. This one now, I can now regard this as a secondary. Okay, so if I would regard this as a primary, because it goes and extends almost everywhere, anyone that is connected to it, I will regard as what? A secondary. Anyone that is connected to the secondary again, I will regard as what? A tertiary. Okay, I hope you are getting. Except now, where you breach that distance is except maybe close to that tertiary road, we have residential houses there. So that's when it cannot link direct from, okay, maybe I have secondary, it now leads to residential, except that. Okay, so now where is that bridge that I was looking for? Oh, this road system is tough. Wow, the person that mapped this place must have enjoyed though. C15 at a spot, daily target. When we were learning, these were the kind of places we were looking for. Okay, so yeah, so we have how to tag how to make ways normally, or let's say waterways now. Normally you say you click your A, and if this is a waterway, you would okay. I've pressed something I'm not supposed to. Oh, I don't have my OSM layer on. That's a problem. I don't want to turn this guy on because you guys might not clearly see what I want you to see. That's the problem. So since I'm done with that task, let me see if there is a way I can quickly locate where this it's not even in our tile. It's not even in our tile. I want to see how I could walk there. Okay, but can you guys clearly see this? So that maybe I'll just use it like this, the way it's with line. I'll just use it for the brief example I want to make. Is this visible? Okay, so if it's visible, let's just use it like that. So we'll just continue. Okay, so let's just use this as an example. So as we said earlier on, to create a waterway, all you just need to do is to select your A, and although there are different ways, you still work on this. Now we'll just keep going and double click, and when we want to tag, we'll add a tag. This is a waterway, and we say, is it a river? Is it? So usually we tag these as like a river. And we'll say okay, and immediately you will see it's changed to blue. Okay, so that's easily how you can create waterways. For roads now, yeah, we would click on the same A again, and we would say this. We'll make the road continue like that. And when we want to tag it, we all agreed like this should be possibly a primary roadway. So we would add tag highway, then we'll say primary. I'll say okay, and now this is it, right? So if this has been tagged as like a primary way, now if we want to upload our work, we should get a warning or an error set if possible. What does it say? Crossing highway and waterway. That means This thing cannot just cross each other. You have to tell us, so is the water and the road, are they jamming each other? How is it? Is one on top of the other? Is one below? These are some questions that Joseph is trying to ask you. What is what? So for this one, we know obviously there needs to be a bridge. There needs to be a bridge. So the bridge will definitely come from maybe somewhere here, since this portion is a little bit on the land, to somewhere here. The bridge should be able to accommodate that. I think it's even to here, because as I can see from here like this, it's to somewhere here. So now, but don't forget, this whole thing is being seen as one road. So for me to specify where the bridge is, I have to first click on one of these points here. And where did I want the bridge to end? I think I want it to end somewhere. Let me see here. So let me use my X to split. I'll cut and split this first. Where do I want this one to end? It already has a split, so I'll just leave it like that. Just extend it a little. So I'll select this one. I'll hold down my shift. Where's the second point? Hold it down. You can see now two of them are selected. I'll press P to split ways. Now when I select this, it only selects the bridge part. Now I'll be adding tag. What will my tag say? Bridge, the value what? I'll say yes. I can see it's bringing me an icon, and I'll say okay. So now I've been able to add a bridge. Okay, so let's try upload. Let's see if it will give us an issue again. Oh, still telling us that what? You see, crossing highway, whatever, primary waterway. So sometimes your waterways need to actually connect to another waterway, not that it will just stay. So again, for the waterway, we would come, and where it connects with the bridge, we'll make other adjustments. Who is notifying me for something? Abdulaziz here. Okay, thank you. So I think what I will do is, as regarding these bridges and culverts, I think I will share a video. So far so good. For the basic validation, I've done majority, but for this part of it, it's just a brief explanation of how to make bridge, what is a culvert, how to use culverts, and that's just it. So I'll be sharing a video on how to do that, so that we'll get understanding. Yes, Titilayo, you have a question? How do you know that what? Yeah. That the person has done a good job. Okay, so now, as a validator, you have a project manager. The project manager can still go and check the work that you are doing. Do you get it? So the project manager still has the capacity to go and check the work that you are doing. I can load the entire project and see what everybody has done, and as a validator, it will show me who submitted the task as it is validated. So that is where I will just catch you red-handed to know that, oh, you are the one that did this. But majorly, that is why as the validator, we are dependent on you to do the good job, because no manager really wants to have that time to go back to be rechecking. That is your work as the validator. Check and ensure that everything is done well, so that we won't bother again to go back and be saying, did the validator to do well again? No, it shouldn't be like that. I hope you understand. So that is why in the first place, as a validator, your own work too needs to be top notch. I don't need as a manager to go back and be checking your work too. It's just like I don't trust you. No, I should trust you enough to deliver one time, not something I'll go and be reviewing over and over and over and over again. I hope we are clear. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, so if there are no questions, then we'll call it a day. Any other question you have, you can ask it in the group. As for the validation video, I'll see how we can drop it so that people that need to check can check. But you can also go on our YouTube page. There are other validation videos that we've done already. You can go through to be familiar with the process. And in few minutes or hours, your Abdulaziz will drop will share with you the task as has been assigned to you people, especially the new validators, so that you begin work as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I remain Moses Kayode. Take care of yourselves. Have a great time working. Thank you. Bye-bye.